HoloNet on Mojo 50 Radio. The millennial conservative resistance begins right here, right now.
Oh, yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, children, bullies, the new millennial conservative resistance does indeed begin right here, right now, with you. You are listening to, and damn, I hope you're watching the HoloNet on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio. And today, it's a little weird. It's going to be a little weird. We're going to be going back to kind of that old school HoloNet feel, way back in the day, long before I graced the halls of Mojo 50 Radio, talking about back in those Lanterns days, Lanterns Media Network. You know, F's in the chats, lads, F's in the chats. A lot of people who I know well and respect grew up there too. Mr. Watson Prunier, Dylan and Steven. But, you know, the way I used to do things back then was a lot more cash. It was a lot less rehearsed. It was a lot less written. It was more frame of mind. It was more, I'm going to pull up all of the absolutely insane shit and... Wow, I missed the mark on that one. And that's going on in the world out there today, and we're going to roll with it. So that's what we're going to do today. Why? Because life broke in and said, Matt, you're not going to have any time for pre-show this week, so just roll with it, baby. So we're going to go back to a little old thing. I'm going to go back to Mr. Marshall Mathers. He's going to tell us what to do. Yeah, half a breath left on my deathbed, screaming F that, yes, super ill. We're going to shoot from the hip and shoot to kill today. So that's what we're doing here on the HoloNet, on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50. It is Saturday. It is the 2nd of October in the year of our Lord, 2021. And hey, Halloween's coming up. 'Tis the season to be frightening. Yeah, I know, you're going to start hearing Christmas music. You're going to start seeing Christmas decorations all over the place. But damn it, it's Halloween. Give me my Halloween, and then give me my Thanksgiving, and then leave me the hell alone for like a month, and then we can talk about Christmas, okay? Is that going to be all right? Good. If it's not going to be all right, then I don't really care what you think, so that works out just fine. This week, we have some hardcore insanity going on. And one piece of that is actually going to be in a story that I am covering this week. It's going to be under Patriot United News. It's not out yet, but I'm going to give you guys the sneak peek, the sniz pizzle, which doesn't sound right at all. I'll give you guys the sneak peek right here. Old Pooty Poot, definitely not the Soviet Union, duh. Old Pooty Poot is up to his old tricks, and if I were in Ukraine right now, I would have a pucker factor of 50, just... You know, that cornhole getting good and tight there, because old Pooty Poot, man, he is not messing around right now. According to Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, who is definitely a reliable source, I mean, totally a reliable source, the U.S., this is from the Russian news agency TASS, the U.S. is creating NATO bases in Ukraine under guise of training centers. And of course, El Presidente del Russo, Vladimir Putin, not thrilled. Warning the Biden-Harris administration, the regime as it were, that this crosses his red lines. We've heard about red lines before. You remember President Barack Obama's red lines? You know, the red lines in Syria that didn't mean anything. Well, right around that same time where President Barack Obama's red lines didn't mean a single good gosh thing, I'm betting that his red line is going to actually mean something. Why do I say that? Because last time we were in this position, he rolled heavy straight into Crimea and straight up took the place. Russia literally bit a chunk off of the country of Ukraine, and he's ours now. He belongs to us. He's Russian. They vote for it. They want to be Russian. New York Times reports Putin warns of Russian red line the West will regret crossing. In a State of the Nation speech, President Vladimir Putin warned of a fast and tough response to security threats in a message seemingly aimed at President Biden, delivered amid large protests. This was back in April and was updated on the 16th. He had previously warned of the ominous red lines in Russia's security that, if crossed, would bring a powerful asymmetric response. Now, the reason for this update is because this came about now on the 16th of September with a new spate of war games taking place between Belarusian. Belarus, if you don't know, is basically Russia's mean little stepkid, and is right now one of the most dictatorial, autocratic states in the world under Alexander Lukashenko. So right now, go to Reuters. The Kremlin warned on Monday that any expansion of NATO military infrastructure in Ukraine would cross one of President Vladimir Putin's red lines. And Belarus said it had agreed to take action with Moscow to counter the growing NATO activity. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, close Moscow ally, accused the United States of setting up training centers in Ukraine, which he said amounted to military bases. He said he had discussed the issue with Putin. It is clear we need to react to this. We agreed that we need to take some kind of measures in response, Lukashenko was quoted as saying to the RIA news agency. Ukraine began joint military exercises with the U.S. and other NATO member troops last week, with Russia and Belarus holding large-scale drills that alarmed the West. Ukraine, which is not a NATO member, has long sought closer ties with the West and its militaries. It has a fraught relation with Russia since Moscow annexed the Crimea. Because you can just, hack off whole pieces of a country if you like. That's a thing that Democrats will let other countries do. Are you paying attention in Taiwan? Are you listening in the Balkans, kids? This is what happens in the world when the United States is weak and our opponents know it. Here we go. Russia staunchly opposes the idea of NATO membership by Ukraine. It alarmed Ukraine and the West earlier this year by building up military near Ukraine's borders. Asked what actions Lukashenko had been referring to, the Kremlin said, "These are actions that ensure the security of the two of our states. President Putin has repeatedly noted the issue of the potential broadening of NATO infrastructure in Ukrainian territory, and he has said this would cross the red lines that he has spoken about before," the Kremlin said in a statement. However, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba rejected the notion of a Russian red line outside of Russia's own borders and said that Kiev had its own security to think about. Quote, "Putin's red lines are limited to Russia's borders," he tweeted. "On our side of the Ukrainian-Russian border, we can figure out ourselves what to do in the interests of the Ukrainian people, as well as Ukraine's and Europe's security." Here is the problem. In the eyes of Putin, in the eyes of Russia, in the eyes of Belarus and Lukashenko, the Russian Empire never really ended. You need to understand that before you take a look at Eastern European geopolitics. In their eyes, it never ended. The Russian Empire changed form and shape when it became the Soviet Union, but it was still, at the end of the day, the Russian Empire. This is even reflected in the lyrics of the Soviet national anthem. I mean, I played it on this show enough, but I don't know if you've ever actually looked at the lyrics. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right here real quick. Oh, come on, guys. English. Hang on. Why I got to find the damn thing in it. Why would a Google search give it to me in Russian? Does that make a lot of sense to you? Okay. Unbreakable union of free republics, Great Rus, Russia, has united forever to stand. Long live, created by the wills of the people, the united, the mighty Soviet Union. The chorus, glory to our father, to our free fatherland, the reliable stronghold of the friendship of peoples, banner of the Soviets, banner of the people, da 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 da. What the hell was that? Sorry, I had a little bit of sound feedback in my ears. But that's the 1944 lyrics to the Soviet national anthem. Now, here's a fun trick, just for those of you playing the history game at home. If you weren't aware of this, let me know. When the Soviet Union fell, 1991, the Russian people couldn't really seem to agree on a new national anthem. It was a bit of a hackle-raising experience for them. So they just stuck with the old one. They just changed the words. The new first stanza is now, the Russian republics in freedom united have mustered their power, their glory, their pride. Oh, wait, that's actually the Soviet Union one. So let me pull up Russian Federation National Anthem. Yeah, here we go. It's funny. It's actually quite funny. Let's get to the lyrics here. They kept the same music. They just changed the lyrics slightly. Okay, so Russia is our sacred state. Russia is our beloved country. A mighty will, great glory, your dignity for all time. Lyrics otherwise are largely the same. Okay. Here's a kicker. At sporting events, at, national pride events, there's still a whole lot of the population that sing the original lyrics. Did you know that? It's a thing. How their logo of their military, still the red star. So it's kind of a change, but not a change. The overwhelming predominance of red in their military and governmental decor, let's say, the schema, the way their equipment and the way I guess they thought it would be reassuring to the people. But here's the thing. The Soviet Union, I will tell you this, the Soviet Union did not go away. It broke up, got smaller, different sections, different leaders. It didn't go away. They rebranded. And that is the view that Moscow sees Ukraine in. Under Democrat leadership, under the Biden-Harris regime, eventually the Harris presidency, I'm sure it's going to come up, and if Republicans and conservatives are unable to retake control of our nation and start to right the ship, Russia views its breakaway provinces the same way, you've heard that phrase, breakaway provinces, before, the same way China views Taiwan. Why does he say there are red lines in Ukraine? Because Ukrainian sovereignty, in the eyes of Vladimir Putin and in the eyes of the Russian diehards, is only words on paper, easily erased. All right, so real quick, gonna get to some advertisanals here. Need to talk to you about our good friends over at MyPillow. Need to get over to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code MOJO50. This is very, very important. This is one of the biggest ways that you can benefit Mojo50 Radio. You can benefit the Holonet, that you can support us and support a great company. We have a great partnership going with MyPillow, and they are really helping us out. We are really helping them out, and we are asking you to help yourself out by taking advantage of these fantastic deals that they have here. They have the Giza Dream Sheets sale of the year. Buy one, get 5. Holy shnikes. I got screwed again. I mean, every time I buy sheets. Anyway, no, I didn't get screwed. They don't screw people over. But I always seem to miss the good sales. But anyway, this one's for you. Buy one, get one free. No, it's not get 5 free. Derp. Buy one, get one free. I screwed up. Sorry. No, buy one, get one free over there. MyPillow premiums are $29.98. You can get the 6-piece My Towel set for $39.99. That's what I was reading. I made a mistake. But yes, winter's coming. You got Christmas gift giving coming. There are parts of the nation where it actually gets cold, unlike Arizona here. So make sure you're stocked up. Make sure you're bundled up. Make sure you're keeping warm. Get them new slippers. Get that new towel. Get that new bathrobe. Get the bedding all set up so you be nice, cozy, comfy, and warm. And support a really fantastic conservative company in the process. Go to mypillow.com, mypillow.com. Use your promo code MOJO50, MOJO50 to support the Mojo50 radio. Thank you very much. So, in a quick piece of news, President Trump is making some waves again, like he does. Check this out. There we go, we got it now. President Trump, stirring the pot as always, is asking a judge in Florida to reinstate his Twitter account. Oh man, I'm crossing my fingers. Oh, I'm crossing my fingers so much because Twitter got so much duller without President Donald Trump on there, pissing everybody off. This guy with 140 characters could light the Twitterverse aflame, and it was so much fun. And note, when President Trump was booted off of Twitter, an exodus of conservative, Republican, and libertarian voices followed suit. A lot of people bailed because, otherwise it's just a stagnant, nasty leftist echo chamber that they didn't really want anything to do with. But with President Trump coming back, my hope, my sincerest hope, is that conservatives and Republicans and libertarians start to climb back into that boat. We do a boarding action from Getter and from Parler and from Gab, and we pull up alongside amidships. We cast our grappling hooks over the side like pirates. We board the ship and we take it over once again. And I would love to see nothing but wall-to-wall posting galore all over Twitter. All of the nascent lords coming back and retaking the digital space, just as I said we have to. I wrote this story 4 years ago that we're losing ground in YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We've lost the ground already. We've yielded it unfought, like Stuart Denethor said in Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. But now we can take it back. We can take it back. If President Trump is allowed to return to Twitter, he can be the vanguard of conservatives and libertarians just getting back onto that platform, getting back into the public square, shoving our way in if necessary. We can penetrate it. Sorry, a little preemptive bell ring there. I had a little, what do you call it? Premature mojo bellination. We'll go with that. Seriously, what do you think? Let me know in the comments here. I think Donald Trump getting back on Twitter would be outstanding, and I think he's got a case here. In July, you can throw back to the article from the BBC, The Beeb, where he opened up suit against Twitter, Google, and Facebook alleging censorship. That suit still underway. But Trump is requesting a preliminary injunction against Twitter. He filed it late Friday, claiming the social media company canceled his account in January under pressure from his political rivals in Congress. Report from Bloomberg said. Twitter declined to comment. Trump's representatives did not immediately respond to Reuters either. He lost his social media megaphone after the company said he violated their policies against glorifying violence, which they really failed to prove he did at all. Twitter exercises a degree of power and control over the political discourse in this country that is immeasurable, historically unprecedented, and profoundly dangerous to open democratic debate. Bloomberg quoted the former president's request as saying. So, thoughts and prayers, man. I am hoping, I am praying that Trump can get back on Twitter, back on Facebook, back on YouTube, and bring these social media giants to heel. And that we can start the long, hard process of taking back our freedom of speech from the elite coastal intelligentsia. The time is now. Daily Wire started up giving Hollywood something to compete with Run, Hide, Fight, and they're putting something together with Gina Carano now, and I think that's fantastic. We need to start making these inroads. We're way, way, way behind in the fight, and I was talking to my wife the other day, and it really is very, very true. For millennials and for Gen Z, we were born into the end of a 100-year-long fight Before we came along, our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents before them have been losing this battle for 75 years. 80 years, 90 years in some cases. This is a fight that started back in the days of Theodore Roosevelt, not Franklin Delano, not Kermit Roosevelt. If you've ever heard that guy speak, I apologize. And yes, his name is actually Mother Kermit. Kermit. Kermit Roosevelt. Look it up. That is the heir apparent to the Roosevelt dynasty. Yeah. There's also like Teddy Roosevelt IV, and he's also a screaming liberal and globalist. Terrible. But I digress. This battle started in the time of our sometimes great-grandfathers. And we are only walking into it now. It's a losing fight. We walked in, and the stadium was already on fire. The team had left. The chairs were on the field. The police had been called. They're showing up in riot gear. And that's when we walked in. We missed the good parts of the fight. No. We have an opportunity as millennials and Gen Z to turn back the tide. And it begins right here, right now with you. And in the coming weeks, I am going to be reaching way back to the knowledge, to the philosophies that made conservatism great, that made America great. We're going to be talking about Silent Cal, President Calvin Coolidge. I'm going to do a whole show on Silent Cal. Beck style maybe, but not as boring. I'm going to do a whole show on it. I want the people of America to be able to work less for the government and more for themselves. That guy who didn't just tackle government and reduce deficit spending, he created a net gain. He reduced spending in half and then in half again. This is a man, when he set eyes on Mount Rushmore, thought it was horrific that the American people were deifying the president. You want to talk about servant leadership? This is someone to admire. This is the man that Reagan looked to for inspiration. You know, we all look at President Donald Trump and he's great and he's wonderful. We look at Ronald Reagan as like the messiah of, I flirt with blasphemy here, but the messiah of the conservative cause, the great one, the Gipper. Before the Gipper was Silent Cal. And every Republican after him was a poor imitation. Because we don't talk about turning back the tide anymore. We don't talk about stopping deficit spending. We talk about reducing the budget. We talk about slowing it down. We talk about, compromise with Democrats. No more compromise, damn it. Stop the spending. Government should be within its means. It should actually operate so far within its means that it turns a profit and can actually start paying this debt down. That's what we need to start fighting for in this country again. And that's where I broke with and disagreed with President Trump, still do today. He was a big government, big spend Republican. I get it. But he was also a bulldog. And, he even said himself that he wouldn't pass another budget under the previous terms, under the terms imposed by the Democrats. He wouldn't do it again. And he didn't. And that's why we're in the fight we're in today. That's why we have a narrowly averted government shutdown to kick the can down the road to December. Oh, man, isn't that going to be good? They're going to throw Christmas in their face again. You're going to shut down the government at Christmas. Yes, that would be the greatest gift ever. Shut that mother down. I want to see the lights off in the Capitol. So this is Christmas. I mean, seriously. Do it. Make them listen. It's the last leverage you have. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to break that down for you a little bit more when we come back. Just a little bit. And we're going to get into some fun stuff as well for the week. You're listening to Hollin' It on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio. Stick around.
Lately, USA is getting scarier. Half of the Americans I see all hate America. They hate the cops doing their best to take care of us and kneel for the flag and salt the soldiers that we're burying. I'm tired of the pissing and complaining. Why you living in America if all you do is hate it? You think it's brave to take a stand against the nation? Real bravery is dying for the right so you can say it. Dear America, what happened to Americans? Apparently no one's aware or cares that it's embarrassing. It's arrogance. Our greatest enemy was always slavery and terrorists, and now it's people in the country trying to burn the heritage. I can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or liberals, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, if freedom ain't free in America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, you say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags. America, does anybody know what the hell happened to the Patriots? Lately this nation is so ashamed and hating itself. Did everyone forget that people died to pay for this? Ungratefulness, United States gave everything to you just to help. I just want to celebrate Thanksgiving with my family. I don't need your help to understand it was a tragedy. Can I just be thankful for my country eating happily without you trying to guilt me for the genocide and casualties? I can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't black or white, it's conflict designed by the system. I don't need your pronouns, all I see is men and women. Kids are taking pills for fun while people can't afford prescriptions. If you don't like it, go. Hate it, then don't call it home. We don't need no violence, got no time for all you radicals. Screw your status quo, we're not animals. I won't kneel for the anthem, cause the flag is what I'm standing for. In America, if freedom ain't free in America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, you say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags. America, you can hate the government and still love the country. The fundamental values of America are concrete. Republicans and liberals are dumb, to put it bluntly. They're labels that they use to create chaos and corruption. You can know the history and still be proud of where you're from. Every flag around the world is covered in a little blood. We started out United States, divided is what we've become. If home is where the heart is, you should show America some love. In America, if freedom ain't free in America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, you say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags. America.
You're listening to the Holonet on Mojo 50 Radio. The Millennial Conservative Resistance begins right here, right now.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages, the Millennial Conservative Resistance does begin right here, right now, with you! You are listening to, and damn, I hope you're still watching, the Holonet on the mighty, the powerful Mojo 50 Radio. We are back, and we're flapping free! Let me tell you a little story that's all about... Anyway, any 90s kid or 80s kid who saw the movie Fern Gully gets that reference. Quick fun fact that I found out, on the break. Did you know that Ewan McGregor's kid brother, Colin McGregor, is actually a pilot in the Royal Air Force of Great Britain? Call sign OB2. That is fantastic. Share that today. So, couple of things in the news, couple of things out there in the universe today. But before we get to any of those, I did want to talk to you about our friends over at preparewithmojo50.com, preparewithmojo50.com. That takes you to My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply, you have the 3-month emergency food supply. It is at $7.97. You can pick that up, or you have the 4-week emergency food supply at $2.97. Either way, it's a good idea to do. It is about preparedness and not panic. Preparedness and not panic. World's getting weird out there, kids. It's getting hella weird. So you need to make sure that you and your family are prepared to be a shelter for those around you that you know and you love. Surround yourself with right, like-minded people. And be ready to be your own help. Most dangerous sentence in the world. Hi, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Don't need their help. Make sure you don't. Okay? Prepare with mojo50.com. Prepare with mojo50.com. When I say things are getting weird, things are getting very, very weird. Things are getting, a majority of Trump supporters want to secede from the Union weird, and a plurality of Democrats want to secede from the Union. Hang on while I get this pulled up. No producers shooting from the hip today. It happens, okay? Gosh. Let's see if it's actually going to let me do this. One day ago, Newsweek. Is it actually going to do it, or is it going to toss me up a paywall? Let's see. Majority of Trump voters want to split the nation into red and blue halves. Majority of Trump voters want to split the country into red and blue halves, according to a new poll conducted by University of Virginia's nonpartisan Center for Politics. Roughly 52% of people who voted for President Donald Trump either somewhat agree or strongly agree that it is time to split the country. Yeah, this is a thing that's getting popular now. Comparatively, 41% of people who voted for Joe Biden agree with the idea. Splitting the country would likely cause massive conflict. You think? When the 11 southern states seceded from the Union in 1860, it marked the start of the U.S. Civil War. The resulting 4-year, 27-day battle ended with... That doesn't sound... It's a 4-year, 27-day war. Added with more than 498,000 soldier deaths, making it the deadliest conflict of all time, according to U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. Yeah, we're really good at killing, and when we kill each other, we're really good at that, too. Elections maps show states as entirely red or blue help viewers understand how many state electoral votes a presidential candidate has. For example, 2020 presidential election divided the U.S. into 13 blue states and 24 red states, and 2 states made in Nebraska split between red and blue districts. However, some political thinkers reject the concept of red and blue states entirely. That's because all U.S. states actually contain Republican, Democrat, and other types of voters and non-voters as well. No kidding. You think so? I actually addressed this a couple years back in my article called Dominion of the Coasts, and a lot of people like Tim Pool have addressed this, Glenn Beck and the Blaze have addressed this, a number of conservative and even some liberal thinkers have addressed this. So when you break down, so let's see, 2016 electoral map by county, okay? Because I'm sorry, I don't take the 2020 results as wrote right now. There's just way too much out there that suggests there was shenanigans. And I'm not talking about Brad Stagg's favorite restaurant either. It looked really, really shady. So, let me get that map pulled up here. Right here. Now, people say that the nation is made up of people, not counties. You know, they love to throw that in your face all day. But this is the 2012 map. New York Times. Oh my goodness, come on. All right, I'm just going to go to 538. 530. Yeah, 538 actually has a decent county-based map. Yeah, I know, it's a little annoying. I apologize for the delay. But I really want to illustrate this point right. When you look at counties, oh, New York Times. James, you're so evil. Do you not know what my computer is doing, man? It is being wonky today. Oh, I love this. Traditionally, U.S. electoral maps not only illustrate polarization, they exacerbate it. No state is strictly red or blue. No kidding, you think so? Jeez. You emphatic wacko. Let's see here. BrilliantMaps.com will probably have it. This is what happens when I don't do show prep. There we go. Now, the poll from the UVA Center of Politics gave similar majorities of both Biden and Trump voters who expressed distrust for voters, elected officials, and media sources whom they associate with the other side. No kidding. We've talked about the crisis of trust that is going on in this country. But here it is right here. I'm actually reading Kurt Schlichter's series, the Kelly Turnbull series, if you're not familiar with it. That is really a very fantastic book. But the first one is People's Republic, where the nation is split along lines that you would probably predict. I'm pulling this up right here. Let's go to a quick zoom. Go to full screen. Come on, full screen. There we go. God, go away. Go away. Gway! There we go. This gives you a really solid breakdown. Again, this is the 2016 electoral result. I'm sorry, I don't trust 2020. But this gives you the breakdown of the counties and how they flow. And you see very, very clearly where the red concentrations are, where the blue concentrations are. And I will give Newsweek credit. Their assertion that there are no quote-unquote red states and blue states is quite apt and quite accurate. But what you have to look at is there are some states that have an overwhelming majority of Republicans. So you have hard red, hard, and leans red. You have hard blue, I suppose you'd call it limp blue, and leans blue. California, more or less, hard blue. Massachusetts, hard blue. Look at that. Not a single red county. Vermont, hard blue. The rest of the Democrat states, those are the only hard blue Democrat states. Really, when you look at it. But if you break things down by population, you start to kind of see. Maine, for example, the population is completely clustered here. Zoom and enhance. You see Maine here. The coastal counties are the absolute lion's share of the population. Then you see Rhode Island is basically a hard blue state except for the center county. New York, exactly what you'd expect. Upstate New York, largely red except for Albany and Buffalo, the major cities of upstate New York. Then you go to downstate New York, the 5 boroughs, overwhelmingly Democrat. Overwhelmingly so. But then you get out into Long Island, where people got some money, get conservative out there. New Jersey, population centers, cuts diagonally across the state of New Jersey. To the northeast, you have the exurbs of New York. Then coming down through the Middlesex County corridor and into Camden County, you have Union, Middlesex, and then Camden County, and then even a little bit into Suffolk, you have the corridor between New York and Philadelphia. The areas that lie outside of the New York-Philadelphia corridor, you're going to find more conservatives. So the shore, down Atlantic City, where people go to retire, and northwestern New Jersey. Pennsylvania is extremely interesting. The vast majority, geographically speaking, of Pennsylvania is highly conservative, highly Republican. But you notice the cities. Harrisburg, Pittsburgh. Philadelphia has a massive 5-county area surrounding it that is all overwhelmingly Democrat. Where population clusters, where you have cities, you tend to have more Democrats. And this is all politics 101 stuff. But people like to see these easy dividing lines of red state, blue state. What you have to think about is something that is addressed in Kurt Schlichter's novel that describes the phenomenon they call the split into the red and the blue. The United States of America, the red, and the People's Republic of North America, the PRNA, which comprises... Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull up Kurt Schlichter's map for you. Kurt Schlichter map. Images. It's the map from People's Republic. Just a sec. I mean, it's actually right up on the cover of the book. So yeah, I'll just flash up the cover of the book. Let's see, just open image, new tab. Man, that's annoying. It's a podcast, really? Here we go. Here's the image. And it's not a complete map, but you can see most of it. Okay, so you have the West Coast. But you notice this is not cut cleanly on state lines. You notice that? So you have most of the West Coast as People's Republic of North America, and you have the Northeast and the Rust Belt as the People's Republic of North America, and the United States of America is all that lies between, including Texas and the whole of the South. Arizona is the border with California. That represents the southeast border. Now, as you can see from looking at the county lines here, that means a lot of people have to move. Whole lot of people. There has to be basically an exodus, the likes of which this nation hasn't seen since the Great Migration. And it's already started. That's the part that these people at Newsweek going, yes, but, well, the state lines are not drawn. You know, it's not red states and blue states. It's getting there. It's happening naturally right now. People are voting with their feet. We've discussed this before. California and New York have exhibited loss of population for the first time ever. They're net negative. They're losing seats in Congress. They're losing electoral college votes because people are getting the hell out. So we are going to see this increased polarization of the nation. You're going to see California get bluer. You're going to see states like Massachusetts get bluer. And you're going to see red states get redder. Arizona can go either way right now because we have 2 senators in Congress, both Democrats. Because you have, if you look at Arizona closely, you have Pinal County, where Tucson is located, and you have, oh God, what county is? Flagstaff. How do I not know that? Is that Coconino? Sorry about that. In Coconino County. Ha! Called it. So you have Flagstaff in Coconino County, and you also have, I believe that's Navajo County in the northwest, in the northeast of Arizona. And then you have New Mexico, which is toward Albuquerque and on the Indian reservations, largely Democratic as well. So you have these kind of anomalous counties. You've seen Denver get bluer and bluer, but as you get toward the Great Plains, it gets redder and redder. It's not going to be clean. It's not going to be easy. There is no good way to split the United States up as it sits right now. There's a certain infeasibility to it. But if we did, one of 2 things would have to happen. Number one, there would be a clash. There would be people who don't want to move or don't have the ability to move from one state to another. They just don't have the financial wherewithal to do it. So we would be talking about massed, forcible relocation. This country's got a bad history with forced massive relocation. Look up the Trail of Tears sometime. It's not a good look. You had the Indian relocations of the of the 19th century. Horrible chapter in American history. Absolutely horrible chapter in American history. You have the Mormon migration. Also, very, very sad. Extremely sad. Then you have the pioneers. You know how many died? I mean, granted, you're crossing wide open country, but you have to think about it. People who don't have the means, where there is not a house waiting for them on the other side. There is not a job necessarily waiting for them on the other side. It will be ugly. So what I can tell you is, it is something to be avoided. Can it be? I don't know. I do not know if we're so far down the road now that there is no turning back, that there is no longer a possibility of rapprochement between the two sides. I don't know if it's feasible. But I do know that every possible effort has to be made to keep the nation together. Because if we do not, there will be dire consequences, not just here, but everywhere in the world. The absence of American leadership has already been felt for the last 15 years. Between the divisive nature of the first Trump presidency, the fact that we started tearing each other apart before he even got inaugurated, and the 8 years of the Obama presidency, we have been weak as a nation for 15 years. American strength was already eroding under the Bush presidency. We spent so much of our strength in the Middle East. Strength that we now realize we really couldn't afford to lose. There was so much good that could have been done with the unity that we all felt on 9/12. And it's such a missed opportunity. I don't say that 9/11 was an opportunity. No, 9/12 was an opportunity. We had a choice. And we chose to be angry and afraid. And I don't blame anybody for that. Hell, I felt the same way. But looking back at it through clear eyes now, the Patriot Act wasn't the answer. Invading Iraq wasn't the answer. Going into Afghanistan, handling business and getting out, that would have been the key. And would have spared so many lives if we had just gone in, done our job, eliminated the Taliban, provided a framework for the Afghan people to rebuild and set up their own lives, put in UN peacekeeping force. Those always work out, don't they? But it should not have been our war for 20 years. And it should have been exited in a much more honorable fashion. But right now, we are so very, very divided. And it seems like a match strike is all it would take. And everywhere I look, it's as if the Biden administration is trying so hard just to push a little more, to see if they can get someone to snap. This past week, we had the announcement that a honest-to-God Soviet was being nominated for comptroller of currency here in the United States. Don't believe me? Look it up. Biden's pick to oversee banks thinks the Fed should end banking and calls Wall Street... Hang on, gotta make sure I do right. Calls Wall Street holes. That's right. She wants to end all private banking. This is Saule Omarova, Kazakh-born, educated at the University of Moscow on a Lenin scholarship. She didn't flee the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union collapsed before she got to do anything, and then she came here. She never lost her love of it. She's suggesting a system be imposed on the United States that mirrors Gosbank, which was the Soviet banking method, which allows for governmental control and guidance of all capital. She calls it a national investment agency. She wants to take all personal accounts and have them be part of the Federal Reserve. So you're not with Bank of America anymore. No, you're with the First National Bank of America, which I'm sure somebody is actually already named. But the new bank of the United States. So all accounts are government controlled. If they think you have too much money, they just take it. Which they pretty much can do already. But they also want to create a new digital currency to supplant the upstart Bitcoin and other alternative coin-based currencies. They can't have those because they can't control them. Every day they push a little harder and a little harder. $3.5 trillion spending bill Biden's trying to ram down our throat. By the way, did you know that he apparently is $500,000 in the hole with the IRS? Yeah, nobody's talking about that one. That's a story that's coming out next week. Make sure that if you haven't already, you sign up to get the HoloNet Premium Digest in your mailbox every day. It's $10 a month. Go to Patreon, go to Subscribestar. You can get that hooked up. That's a new story coming out this week. You won't believe it. Jim Banks headed up the congressional research. Showed conclusively. Looks like Joe Biden was dodging Medicare payments, hiding it in his speaker's bills, putting it through various S-corps. Nice job. If they caught Donald Trump doing half of this, if they caught his kids doing this, it would have been global news for 6 months. Biden? Nah. The hypocrisy is outstanding. I mean, it's amazing. We need to push to keep our nation together. Because something tells me there are parties at work that want it to come apart desperately. Because if the United States breaks, if the United States comes apart, there is the very concentrated in population half that they get to play with without the constraints of the Constitution anymore. That's why 41% of Democrat voters want this. Don't you understand? They want to be able to throw out the Constitution and just impose whatever they want. Read the books. Kurt Schlichter sitting in for Nostradamus this week. I'd love to have that guy on the show. I'll see if I can arrange it. I'm working on the second book now. It's a terrible, dystopian future. At least in the blue half of the country. But revanchism, war and bloodshed, it's always bad. It might be better for the people in the red part of the country, but there were still lives lost, treasure expended, land forsaken. None of which we can afford. And a world left completely at the mercies of Beijing, Moscow, and Istanbul. Sorry, Ankara. Yeah, the Turks are at it again. Meeting up with Pooty-Poot this week, actually. We cannot allow this future to come to pass if it can be stopped. If it can't be stopped, then we seriously need to brace ourselves. Some gift seasons are coming up here, coming up on Christmas time. So I want to make sure you check out Romika Design. Romika Design, great sponsor, great friends of the program. You know them, you love them. And my computer is freaking out again. RomikaDesigns.com, RomikaDesigns.com. Make sure you use your promo code HoloNet. Let them know who sent you. Helps us out, helps them out. Get your gifts underway. Get your COVID booster shot glass, or your first and second shot right there. 5 stars, would poop here again sign for your bathroom. That's fantastic. It's been an interesting show, guys. Interesting show. Going back to the old days, I know sometimes it's a little hard to track because I'm all over the map. Do better next week. Might have some really incredible news. Those of you on my personal Facebook page might have heard about it already, but some stuff in the works. Possibly a change coming up for me in a big way. Not going to be going anywhere. Not going to be leaving Mojo. Chill out. But your thoughts and prayers would be greatly appreciated for possibly a big change in career for me. But in the meanwhile, folks, if it's at all possible to keep our nation together, that's what we need to do. If it's not possible, then we need to facilitate the next steps in the most peaceful way possible. What we cannot afford at all is a second American Civil War, which seems inevitable right now. But we desperately cannot afford it. And the world cannot afford to be without our influence. So, talked about preparewithmojo50.com. Take that to heart. By the way, make sure you stock up on some American Pride Roasters coffee. American Pride Roasters, too. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Official coffee Mojo 50. Because I don't work without coffee. I don't know about you. But luxuries like that might be harder to come by. Inflation's on the rise. There's talk of a shipping crisis. Transport ships, container ships, and holding patterns off the coasts of the United States because of labor shortages at all of our unloading ports. It's crazy. Keep your heads on a swivel, kids. Take care of each other. Good night. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America. From Phoenix, Arizona, Mojo 50. I'm Matt Holloway. End transmission.